What's up, Maniacs, and welcome back to GameMania. And I hope you feel very nostalgic today. In the next minutes, we will make a walk on the beach. Enjoy. There are games about saving the world, and then there is Death Stranding, a game about why the world is worth saving in the first place. This is not a story about heroes or villains in the traditional sense. It's a story about loss, connection, parenthood, and what happens when humanity becomes afraid of itself. To understand Death Stranding, and especially Death Stranding 2, we need to start at the very beginning, not with Sam Porter Bridges, but with death itself. At some points in the past, the boundary between life and death broke. When people die, their souls, their ka, do not pass on. They become stranded on invisible shores called beaches, limbo realms that exist between worlds. And sometimes, those souls come back. These returning dead are known as BTs, beached things, invisible, hostile, and catastrophic. If a living human is consumed by a BT, it causes a void out, a massive annihilation event that wipes entire cities off the map. To make things worse, the rain itself becomes poisoned. Timefall ages anything it touches. A few seconds can turn skin to wrinkles, metal to rust, buildings to dust, and civilization collapses. Humanity retreats underground into isolated bunkers, terrified of the outside world. And between these cities walk the last lifeline of humanity. Sam Porter Bridges is not a hero. He is a delivery man. He doesn't fight for glory, ideology, or patriotism. He carries packages because someone has to. Sam also has a condition called dooms, which gives him a rare ability. When he dies, he comes back on the beach. He is a repatriate, a man who cannot stay dead. At the start of Death Stranding, Sam is summoned to see the dying President of the United States, Bridget Strand. She reveals two truths. She tells him that she is Sam's adoptive mother, and the world can still be saved if the shattered United States is reconnected using a supernatural internet called the Chiral Network. Sam refuses until he learns the third truth about his sister, Amelia, that is stranded on the far side of the continent. If Sam reconnects America, he can bring her home. Eventually, he agrees. Sam is given a tool that will change his life forever, a bridge baby, a fetus removed from a brain-dead mother kept in an artificial womb. These babies exist half in life, half in death, allowing them to sense BTs. Sam hates the idea at the beginning, but as he walks across America, something changes. He starts talking to the baby, protecting it, trusting it. And slowly, against his will, Sam begins to connect with the baby. He names her Lou, BB-28. Throughout his journey, Sam is dragged into violent visions of past wars, from World War I, Second World War. He's seen memory from Vietnam. At the center of them all is a soldier named Clifford Unger, a man desperately searching for his lost child. He finds out in the end that Clifford's child was actually Sam. In fact, Sam himself was once a bridge baby. Bridget Strand ordered Cliff killed, and Sam was shot as an infant and resurrected on the beach. That act, pulling Sam back from death, caused the Death Stranding itself. Bridget and Amelia are the same being, an extinction entity, destined to end humanity. At the end of Death Stranding, Amelia gives Sam a choice: end the world or delay the inevitable. But Sam doesn't fight her, he hugs her. That act of human connection, compassion without conditions, convinces Amelia to stay behind on the beach, alone, holding extinction at bay. And the world is saved. For now. 11 months later, peace is fragile. The Chiral Network has stabilized America, but the world remains divided. Sam tries to live quietly with Lou until Fragile returns. New plate-like portals, plate gates, have appeared. Connecting countries seems to open paths between continents. Mexico is next. Sam agrees to one last job. While Sam reconnects Mexico, his home is attacked. Red armored soldiers storm his shelter. Gunfire sound everywhere. Fire burn down the place, and a death silence is revealed. Lou is killed in the attack, and Fragile is mortally wounded. Sam returns to nothing. Grief and anger consumes him, and that grief makes him vulnerable. Knowing who attacked Lou and Fragile is the first step to understanding the ending of Death Stranding 2. The group in red are mechanical soldiers, 3D printed by a reborn Higgs, who, after the events of the first game, killed himself on his beach, only to come back as a glam rock mercenary robot and getting revenge on Sam and Fragile. This is why he attacks her and Lou. But Higgs didn't just come back to life by himself. His soul was revived thanks to an entity known as APAS, a private corporation that manages the automated delivery robots transporting packages. Their goal is to connect Mexico and later Australia to the network, to open even more plate gates, and eventually link up the whole world. But behind the scenes, APAS is actually run by a sentient entity known as APAS 4000, which is the fusion of the APAS AI system that manages deliveries and 4,000 human souls from people who were killed in a massive void out. Their ultimate goal is to elevate all humans into souls, preventing humanity from evolving and instead keeping them trapped in the world of the dead. The attempt to try and contain humanity from once again exploring the world and making connections with one another. It would keep Earth's population safe, but at the cost of what makes them human, changing people into digital entities in the shape of their saviors. APAS 4000 believes using Sam to further its goal of one day containing humanity from ever leaving their shelters ever again. But behind the scenes, Fragile's drawbridge knows about this plan and is working to stop APAS 4000. Fragile and Drawbridges, who was revealed to be the former president of the UCA, Hardman, as well as the new crew of the DHV Magellan, were in fact connecting various settlements in Australia using a new device. This device would sever the connection between the world of the living and the dead, and, by extension, cut off APAS 4000's connection to the world due to it being an entity made up of dead souls. By fully connecting Australia with the new Cupid, APAS 4000 is split from the world of the living, and its plan to trap humanity fails. While Higgs may have been brought back by APAS 4000 to try and push along its plans, Higgs is by no means a lackey. Instead, Higgs uses his newfound robot body to carry out a separate, more personally fueled plan of revenge. It was he who attacked Fragile and Lou while Sam was busy reconnecting Mexico, and eventually, it's revealed that Higgs plans to finish what he started in the first Death Stranding game and bring the end of the world via the last stranding. Whereas in the first game, Higgs tried to use the extinction entity known as Amelie to trigger the Earth-ending event, this time he tries to use Tomorrow, a young woman Sam recovers from the world of the dead who has mysterious powers that allow her to use tar to speed up decay. By using Tomorrow as an extinction entity, Higgs' plan is to once and for all end human life, killing Sam and Fragile in the process. While Sam manages to defeat Higgs and finally end his apocalyptic fantasy, Higgs does succeed in completing one of his goals. For much of Death Stranding 2, we're made to think that Fragile survived the attack by Higgs, but Lou died. In reality, Fragile used her trans-dimensional teleportation powers to send Lou to the world of the dead, while Fragile was the one killed by Higgs. Because time dilation and the distinction between life and death are all kinds of messed up in the world of Death Stranding, the Fragiles say that Sam and the DHV Magellan crew have been traveling with the entire game is actually Fragile's soul that she temporarily left behind to help Sam and the crew defeat Higgs, stop APAS 4000, and reconnect the world. Unfortunately, her time in the world of the living is only temporary, and she dies for real at the end of the game. But what about Lou? As it turns out, Lou was spared in the attack by Higgs in Mexico as Fragile used her powers to send Lou to another beach, effectively another dimension. Sent away by Fragile, Lou grew up in the world of the dead, as manifested by the soldier Neil Vanner. Years later, Sam Porter Bridges will end up fighting Neil in this world and rescue Lou, who is none other than Tomorrow. That's right, Tomorrow is in fact the same baby Lou that Fragile sent away at the start of the game. Lou is also BB-28 that Sam traveled with across the UCA in Death Stranding, and more than that, is actually Sam's biological daughter. So now we can explain the final puzzle that ties all Death Stranding 2 together. So, Louis survives Higgs' initial attack in Mexico and grows up to become Tomorrow. But why did Higgs want Lou in the first place? That's because, decades ago, Sam, who is a repatriate, someone who can resurrect themselves thanks to the effects of the Death Stranding, was in a relationship with a therapist named Lucy. Around this time, Lucy was seeing another patient, a man named Neil Varner, who was a smuggler working for Bridges to deliver illegally acquired brain-dead pregnant women whose stillborn babies would become the very first Bridge babies. Racked with guilt, Neil sought the help of Lucy, who, it turns out, saved Neil when they were both children from the same village under attack by BTs. Reunited after all these years, Neil rekindled a relationship with Lucy that becomes romantic, even though Lucy was in a relationship with Sam. At the time, despite Neil and Lucy's close relationship, Lucy chose to stay with Sam, and together they conceived a child. Unfortunately, a baby born from a repatriate like Sam held high value for Bridges, who was still conducting their original experiments with BBs. Once they discovered Lucy's pregnancy, Bridges sought to take the child from Lucy. To protect the unborn baby Louis, Lucy convinced Neil to pretend to be the father, making the baby less valuable to Bridges. Together with the baby, they would escape the city and Bridges, but would sadly never make it that far, as both Neil and Lucy are killed. Bridget went to the beach to resuscitate Sam, making him a repatriate in the process. Now outside the pod, President Strand decided to raise him as her own son. Little did she know that going to the beach to rescue Sam would in fact allow all dead beings to rejoin the living world. She unwittingly started the Death Stranding. So the scar we saw early now has a key meaning. Sam can stop the final stranding. He travels to the beach to talk to his sister, but then we get another shocking twist. Bridget and Amelie are not mother and daughter like we first thought. They are in fact the same person. Due to her cancer, Bridget's soul was not whole with her body, making two parts of the same being. As her body withered, Bridget told everyone of her daughter to hide this fact, which also explains why Amelie only appears as a holographic form in the real world. And now, the final decision. Amelie allows Sam to decide the fate of the world, kill her and give humanity more time to live, or let the final stranding happen. Tough choice, it isn't a choice after all. You cannot kill Amelie. Instead, Sam must hug his sister, his mother, whatever she is now. This moment of compassion is the only thing preventing extinction. Thank you. Amelie doesn't want to kill humanity, but she knows it's her only purpose in life. I mean, she previously begged Sam to kill her to stop Armageddon. So ultimately, she doesn't want to kill everyone, so she decides to stay on the beach for as long as she can, but reminds us that the sixth and final extinction will happen. It's inevitable. And then the credits roll. Again, we finished?
Yeah, you know we haven't finished. Really, Sam is literally pulled from the beach by all his friends he's made on this adventure so far. They use the umbilical cord and other items to access the beach. From here, Die Hardman removes his mask and becomes the new president of the United States, and after the press conference, he breaks down in front of Sam, explaining how he shot the man he loved, Clifford. That's platonic love, by the way. Don't read too much into that. Sam hits Die Hardman with this line.
Nobody wants a president who acts like they're immortal.
And if you're not scared of death, how can you value life? Finally, disaster strikes. Lou is proclaimed dead. The BB we loved for so long is no more, and Sam must retrace his steps from the first mission of the game and incinerate his baby to prevent another void out.
Come on, Lou, one last delivery. In a show of compassion, Deadman removes Sam from his bind to the UCA, allowing Sam to remove Lou from the chamber without breaking the law, which, of course, he does, and tries to resuscitate Lou one last time. And guess what? It failed. No, I'm kidding. He did it. Lou is a real baby, all naked and cold. That was a crazy story I could tell, to be honest. I have to do a lot of research for this game because everything seems so messed up at first. But here we are. In the last minute of the video, I can only thank you for your support and leave a like for more story explanations in the future. If you have a specific game you'd like to see as a story, leave a comment with your game and we'll do that for the next episode. Thanks, Maniacs!